I never imagined betrayal could sound like laughter behind a closed office door. It was late past 10 and the office lights painted everything in tired gold. I came back only because I'd forgotten my laptop. I wish I hadn't. I heard her laugh first. Soft, familiar, Lena's laugh. Then a man's voice, Marcus. My boss. My gut twisted. I froze outside his door, hand trembling near the handle. Stop, she whispered inside. Relax, Marcus said, his tone playful. He won't be back tonight. I pushed the door open. They both turned at once. Her lipstick was smudged. His tie was loose. For a few seconds, none of us said a word. Just silence heavy enough to choke on. Lena started. I stared at her. Don't. My voice came out flat, not angry, just broken. Don't say my name like that. Marcus stepped forward. All fake calm. It's not what it looks like. I laughed once, bitterly. Then tell me, Marcus, what does it look like? He didn't answer. She did. It just happened, Lena said, eyes wide. You've been so distant lately, and don't you dare blame me. My chest felt tight. You said you loved me yesterday. Her voice cracked. I did. No, I said quietly. You loved what I could give you. And when I stopped being useful, you found someone richer. Marcus sighed. Ethan, you're emotional right now. Let's be adults. I snapped. You're sleeping with your employee's girlfriend in your office. That's what you call being an adult? Lena flinched. Please, can we talk privately? There's nothing left to talk about, I said. You made your choice. She stepped closer. I didn't mean to hurt you. I shook my head. You didn't hurt me, Lena. You killed something in me, and I don't think it's coming back. For a moment, no one moved. Her mascara was running. Marcus looked annoyed that I hadn't just walked away. I finally did. As I walked out, her voice followed me, Ethan. Wait. I didn't stop. I couldn't. The elevator doors closed, sealing her voice away. The ride down felt endless. I stared at my reflection in the steel wall. My face looked strange, cold, like someone I didn't know. Outside, the night air hit me hard. I kept walking until my legs gave out near the parking lot wall. I sat down, my heart hammering, trying not to throw up. My mind kept replaying that image, her hand on his chest, the guilt in her eyes. No tears came. Just a hollow ache spreading through my chest. My phone buzzed. It was her. I let it ring. Then again. Finally, a text. Please, Ethan, can we talk? I turned the screen off and dropped the phone beside me. A shadow moved nearby. It was Noah, my best friend. He worked in the same building and must have seen me leave. Dude, what the hell happened? You look like you got hit by a truck. Worse, I muttered. He crouched beside me. Tell me. She was with him, I said, barely audible. His eyes widened. Marcus, you serious? I nodded. That bastard, he said, fists clenching. You want me to go back up there and no? I stared at the ground. It's done. Noah exhaled hard. You don't deserve this, man. I thought I knew her, I said softly. I really did. You did, he replied. She just changed. Or maybe you saw what you wanted to see. That hit me. I looked up at the stars above the parking lot, faint and distant. Like everything else that used to matter, I kept telling her I was working hard for our future, I said. She said she believed in me. People say a lot when they want comfort, Noah said. But when life tests them, their truth comes out. I rubbed my face. I feel stupid. You're not, he said. You're human. We sat there in silence for a while, cars passing by, lights flickering across the wet pavement. Somewhere inside the building, laughter echoed again. Not hers. Someone else's butt. It still felt like a knife, twisting deeper. Noah finally stood. Come on, let's get you out of here. You need air, and maybe whiskey. I need a time machine, I said. Sorry, fresh out of those, he muttered. We got into his car. I stared out the window as the city lights blurred past. Every street reminded me of her, our favorite cafe. The bookstore she dragged me into, the park bench where she said forever. Do you think she ever loved me? I asked quietly. Noah didn't answer right away. Maybe she did, he said finally. But love without loyalty isn't love, it's just need. I nodded slowly. Guess I was just her phase. When we reached my apartment, I didn't get out immediately. Noah looked at me. You going to be okay? I don't know, I admitted. But I'll have to be. He put a hand on my shoulder. Then start there. Don't let her define you. I managed a weak smile. Thanks, man. Always, he said, and drove off. Inside, the silence was unbearable. I tossed my jacket on the chair and sank onto the couch. The apartment smelled like her perfume. She'd been here this morning, laughing, making coffee, saying, "Don't work too late." I closed my eyes and pressed my palms to my face. Stupid, I whispered. So stupid. The clock ticked loudly, every second louder than my heartbeat. My phone lit up again, Lena calling. I watched it ring until it stopped. Then I blocked her number. In the quiet that followed, something inside me shifted. The pain didn't fade, but it hardened like steel cooling in fire. I stood up, walked to the window, and looked out over the city. The skyline glowed with opportunity and betrayal at the same time. I'll never be the same man again, I said to my reflection. And for the first time that night, I meant it. I didn't know how many days had passed. The curtains stayed shut, the room smelled like stale coffee, and the only sound was the hum of my fridge. I hadn't answered a single call. When the knocking started, I ignored it. Ethan. Noah's voice broke through. I know you're in there. I didn't move. The door creaked open anyway. You look like hell, he muttered. Thanks, I said. My voice sounded dry, even to me. He stepped inside, wrinkling his nose. Man, when's the last time you ate something that wasn't liquid or expired? I'm not hungry. You've been saying that for a week. I didn't argue. I just stared at the blank TV screen. She's not worth this, he said. Don't say her name. I didn't. It still feels like you did, Noah sighed. You can't stay like this forever, why not? I asked. It's peaceful here. Just me and my regrets. Regrets don't pay rent, he said. Neither does self-pity. I glared at him. You think I'm enjoying this? I think you're stuck, he said softly. And you don't want to move because moving hurts more. I looked away. You weren't there that night. I don't need to be. I saw your face after. That said enough. I rubbed my eyes. I loved her, man. I gave her everything. My time, my trust, everything. Yeah, he said, and she threw it away. But that's on her, not you. Hey. The room went quiet. He walked over to the window and yanked the curtains open. Light spilled in like punishment. God, that hurts, I muttered, covering my face. Good, Noah said. Means you're alive, he turned back to me. You can't let her win by destroying yourself. She already did, I said. Then take it back. That made me look at him. Take it back. What's that even mean? It means, he said, pacing, you stop letting her and that jerk define your story. You build something bigger than what they took from you. I scoffed. Build what? I quit my job. I've got a dying laptop, a half-empty fridge, and a brain full of betrayal. He leaned forward. You've got skills, Ethan. You've made Marcus's company money every month. You know, clients, strategy, marketing, all that stuff. You could start your own thing. I laughed bitterly. Start a company? From this couch? Every empire starts somewhere, he said. Usually from rock bottom. I looked around the apartment. Empty pizza boxes, cold coffee cups, the jacket she once wore hanging by the door. It feels like I'm buried, I whispered. Then dig yourself out, Noah said. I didn't reply. He grabbed his phone and started typing. What are you doing? I asked. Searching for available domains, he said. If we're going to build your empire, we need a name. I stared at him. You're insane. Probably, he said. But I'm the only one crazy enough to believe in you right now. Something in me cracked a small laugh, maybe the first in days. You're serious? Dead serious. I sank back on the couch. You think people would work with me after what happened? He shrugged. People don't care about your heartbreak, Ethan. They care about results. And you deliver results. I stared at my laptop on the table. Dust clung to it. I reached over and flipped it open. The screen flickered on, weak light in a dark room. It still works, I said quietly. Then so do you, Noah replied. I looked up. You really think I can do this? I don't think, he said. I know. For the first time, I didn't feel like arguing. The air felt lighter somehow. Maybe it was the sunlight. Or maybe it was the idea that my story wasn't over yet. I typed a few words, just a project name, but seeing it appear on the screen felt like breathing again. What's the name? Noah asked, leaning over. Rebirth, I said. He smirked. Dramatic. Fitting, I said. He clapped his hands once. Then it settled. You're done crying? You're going to build something she'll regret walking away from? Revenge? I asked. Success, he said. That's the best revenge. I sat back, staring at the word rebirth on the screen. The ache in my chest didn't vanish, but it shifted, sharper, cleaner, focused. Noah looked at me. You good? No, I said honestly. But I will be, he nodded. That's all I needed to hear. As he walked toward the door, he paused. Oh, and shower, man. You smell like lost hope, I laughed. Faint, but real. Get out. He grinned. Gladly. When the door closed, I was alone again, but not the same kind of alone. I looked at my reflection in the laptop screen. My eyes were red, my face pale, but there was something new. There's something burning. Maybe I lost her. But I wouldn't lose myself. Noah dropped his backpack on my couch. So this is headquarters? Don't mock greatness, I said, clearing empty mugs off the table. Every empire starts somewhere. He grinned. Yeah, usually not with a squeaky fan and a broken chair. I looked around the tiny apartment. 2 laptops. A cheap Wi-Fi router. A dream that didn't make sense yet. It's all we need, I said. I'm done working for people like Marcus. We'll do it ourselves. Noah raised an eyebrow. You mean steal his clients? I hesitated. Borrow with better service, right, he said. Borrow their loyalty too while you're at it. I ignored him and opened my laptop. I still have some of their contact files from the old days. They trusted me more than him. He leaned over my shoulder. You sure about this? No, I admitted. But being sure never got anyone anywhere. For a while, we just worked in silence. The only sounds were keys clicking and the hum of the old ceiling fan. I drafted a proposal for one of Marcus's smaller clients, a fashion startup he'd been ignoring. What if they recognize your name? Noah asked. Then they'll remember who actually made their campaigns work, I said. And if they don't, I'll remind them, he laughed. Man, you sound like someone out for blood. Maybe I am, I said quietly. Hours passed. When the email finally went out, I leaned back and sighed. That's it. Our first shot. Noah cracked open 2 cans of cheap soda. To rebirth. I raised mine. To revenge through progress. The next morning, my phone buzzed. I stared at the screen for a full minute before answering. Mr. Cole? A woman's voice said. This is Sarah, from Velvet Threads. We got your proposal. Are you free to discuss it today? My pulse jumped. Absolutely. After the call, I turned to Noah. They want a meeting. He blinked. Seriously? Seriously, he whistled. That was fast. Guess Marcus really did take them for granted. I grabbed my jacket. Let's go make them believe we're better. We, he said, half asleep on the couch. Yes, we, I said. You're my co-founder now, he'd groaned. I didn't even apply. Too late. You're hired. The meeting took place at a small cafe downtown. Velvet Thread's manager, Sarah, looked skeptical when she saw our set up 2 guys. 1 laptop, 0 reputation. So, she said, crossing her arms, why should we trust you? I smiled. Because Marcus Reed doesn't answer your emails. I do, her eyes narrowed. You used to work for him? Not anymore, I said. Now I fix what he broke. She studied me for a moment. You sound confident. I have to be, I said. We're building something real, something personal. You'll never be just another client to us. Sarah leaned back, thinking, if you can increase our sales by 20% in the first month, we'll sign a long-term contract. I didn't blink. Make it 30, her lips curved. Ambitious. Hungry, I corrected. When we left the cafe, Noah punched my arm. Dude, 30%? You trying to kill us? I grinned. If we're going to rise, let's rise loud. He laughed. You're insane, motivated, I said. There's a difference. For the next 2 weeks, we barely slept. I wrote copy until my eyes burned. Noah managed client calls, social media, and deadlines. Every click, every ad, every late-night idea felt like one step further away from her. When exhaustion hit, I'd think about Lena's voice. You'll never be enough for me, Ethan. And then I'd work harder. One night, Noah looked up from his screen. You ever stop? Stopping didn't get me anywhere, I said. He leaned back. Man, you've changed. Good, I said. That's the point. A week later, the campaign went live. We watched the numbers together, waiting. First, demoderate engagement. Second day, triple clicks. By the end of the week, Sarah called again. We're up 32%, she said. When can we meet to discuss expansion? I smiled into the phone. Tomorrow, after hanging up, I turned to Noah. We did it. He blinked. We actually did it. First brick, I said quietly. The foundation's set. We ordered cheap takeout to celebrate. As we ate on the floor, I couldn't help but think how strange it was. Success didn't feel like joy yet. It felt like vengeance disguised as progress. Noah noticed my silence. You thinking about her? Sometimes, I admitted, but not the way I used to. He nodded. That's progress too. I stared at the glowing laptop screen, the analytics graph rising like a heartbeat. I want more, I said. More clients? More everything, I said. Money, influence, respect. I want to build something no one can take from me. Noah smirked. And when you do, I'll thank her, I said. He raised an eyebrow. For breaking you. For showing me who I could be after she did. He laughed quietly. That's darkly poetic. I'm just getting started. The clock hit midnight. We clinked our soda cans together again. To the Empire, he said. To never needing anyone who doubted me, I replied. That night, as I lay awake, my mind didn't wander to her face anymore. It wandered to the Empire I could already see forming one client. One victory, one sleepless night at a time. The hunger wasn't just for money. It was for respect for the version of me they said would never exist. And now he was finally being born. Noah adjusted my tie as I stared at my reflection. You ready for this? I smirked. I built an agency out of a living room. I can handle a ballroom, he laughed. Yeah, but can you handle her if she's there? My hands froze. Who? Come on, Ethan. You know these corporate events? Marcus and Lena always show up when cameras do. I exhaled slowly. Then let them see what they lost. Noah grinned. That's the spirit. Let's make them choke on your success. The hotel ballroom glittered with chandeliers and expensive perfume. Men in tailored suits discussed numbers like poetry. Women floated in gowns worth more than my first car. Noah whispered, You sure we belong here? I straightened my jacket. We earned our place. Let them wonder how. I spotted Mr. Moore across the room. Gray hair, firm handshake, the kind of man who commanded silence when he spoke. I'd pitched him our expansion proposal last week, and tonight he was hosting this gala. I approached. Mr. Moore, I said warmly. Good to see you again, he smiled. Ethan Cole, the man who turned small businesses into headlines. Glad you came. I shook his hand, steady and confident. Then I heard her laugh. Familiar, sharp, practiced. My chest tightened, but I didn't turn immediately. I wanted her to notice first. Ethan. The voice behind me trembled slightly. I turned. Lena stood beside Marcus, her smile fading the second our eyes met. "Lena," I said evenly. "Marcus." Marcus's jaw tensed. "Didn't expect to see you here." "I could say the same," I replied. "But I guess ambition brings us all to the same tables eventually." Lena's gaze darted to Mr. Moore, who was watching the exchange curiously. You know my father?" I smiled faintly. "We've been discussing potential investments. He believes in new ideas." Mr. Moore chuckled. "Ethan's doing remarkable work. Sharp mind, strong vision." Lena's expression cracked. "That's impressive." Marcus forced a grin. "Well, I'm glad you're keeping busy after the company thing." "Oh, I'm not just busy," I said. "I'm building something bigger than that." Noah appeared beside me, handing me a glass of wine. "Mr. Cole, the investors from Singapore are waiting for you." I took the glass, but didn't look away from Marcus. "Tell them I'll be right there." Lena finally spoke, softer this time. "You've changed." "People do when they stop being underestimated." She hesitated. "Yes, you did," I said quietly. "But it's fine. You taught me something I couldn't have learned any other way." Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "Come on, Lena, we should go." "Stay," Mr. Moore said suddenly. "You might learn a thing or two about persistence." I nearly laughed. The irony was delicious. Lena's cheeks flushed. "Dad, please!" Mr. Moore raised a hand. "No need to be embarrassed. Success deserves acknowledgement." I clinked glasses with him. "To growth," I said. "To vision," he replied. As he walked off to greet another guest, Lena turned to me again. "You're working with my father?" "I don't work for anyone anymore," I said. "But yes, he believes in what we're building." Her voice shook. "You really think you can compete with Marcus?" I smiled. "Compete? I'm not playing his game. I'm building my own board." Marcus stepped closer. "You always were arrogant, and you always mistook arrogance for confidence," I said calmly. "That's why you'll never lead. You just manage." He clenched his jaw. "Watch your mouth." "Why?" I asked. "You can't fire me anymore." Noah leaned in. "Everything good here?" "Perfect," I said. "Just catching up with old colleagues." Lena's eyes softened for a moment. "Ethan, I didn't mean to hurt you." I met her gaze. "Maybe not. But you did. And now you get to see what that built." The silence between us was sharp enough to cut glass. Around us, the gala continued. Music, laughter, deals being made. But all I heard was the quiet victory in my chest. Marcus muttered, "This isn't over." "It's already over," I said. "You just don't know it yet," he glared. "Enjoy the spotlight while it lasts." "I plan to," I said, smiling. "It's warmer up here." They turned to leave. Lena hesitated, glancing back once more. Her eyes held something I couldn't quite name regret. Maybe. But it didn't sting anymore. When she walked away, I didn't feel anger or sadness. Just clarity. Noah nudged me. "That was cold, man." I took a sip of my drink. "That was control," he chuckled. "You didn't even raise your voice." "I didn't need to," I said. "Revenge doesn't have to shout. It just has to stand tall." We moved toward the investors' table. Mr. Moore was already introducing me to new contacts. As we shook hands, I caught Lena's reflection in a distant mirror, still watching, still pretending she wasn't. I smiled, not out of love, but power. Noah whispered, "What's next?" "Expansion," I said. "If tonight proved anything, it's that I belong in this world more than they ever did." He nodded. "You really think you can take Marcus down quietly?" "Quietly," I said. "Elegantly. Step by step." The music swelled as another toast began. Glasses clinked. Laughter echoed. I lifted mine, but kept my eyes on the reflection across the room. "Here's to patience," I murmured, "and to the art of silent revenge." That night, walking out of the ballroom under the city lights, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not rage. Not heartbreak. Just power. Revenge, I realized, didn't have to burn. It could glows low, steady, and untouchable. Noah tossed another report on my desk. "We closed 3 contracts this week, man. You realize that?" I rubbed my eyes. 3. I thought it was 2. He grinned. That's the problem. You can't even keep count anymore. I glanced at the clock to 17 a.m. The office lights buzzed softly. Coffee cups and takeout boxes cluttered the table. Noah leaned back. You ever going home? I live here now, I muttered. Not healthy. Neither is losing. I shot back. He sighed. You're winning, Ethan. You just don't act like it. Maybe because I can't feel it, I said quietly. He studied me for a moment. You need air. There's a networking thing downtown tomorrow night. Meet new people. Not clients' people. I'll pass. Oh, you won't, he said, grabbing his jacket. Because if you burn out, this empire burns with you. The next night I stood in a room filled with laughter and fake smiles. Music hummed softly under the clink of glasses. I hated these events, everyone pretending. They cared about something more than profit. I was halfway to the exit when someone stopped me. You look like you're planning an escape. Durned. A woman with chestnut hair and a calm smile stood holding a glass of water instead of champagne. Maybe I am, I said. Then at least wait until I find the nearest door, she joked. I laughed. The first real one in weeks. You're not drinking? Not tonight. I like remembering what people say. That's rare, I said. Most here prefer to forget. You don't like crowds, do you? Crowds are fine. It's the noise that gets me. Funny, she said. You look like someone who commands rooms, not avoids them. I shrugged. I used to like the spotlight. Now it feels heavy. Maybe it's because you never step out of it, she replied softly. I studied her. You analyze everyone like this? Only the ones who seem tired. I smiled. You're observant. I'm Clara, she said, extending her hand. Freelance designer. I build brands, but mostly I fix chaos, Ethan, I said, shaking her hand. I cause chaos. She laughed. Honesty. That's refreshing. We ended up sitting at a small table near the window. The city lights painted her face in soft gold. So she asked, what do you do that keeps you so exhausted? I run a digital agency. It's growing faster than I can control. Sounds like success. It feels like drowning, I admitted. Her expression softened. That's the thing about ambition, it's loud. Peace is quiet, so it's easy to forget what it sounds like. I stared at her for a moment. You talk like someone who's lost before. I have, she said. But I decided not to stay lost. Something in me shifted. The way she spoke, it wasn't pity. It was understanding. She checked her watch. You should go home tonight. I have work. You'll still have it tomorrow. I can't slow down, I said. Not now. She smiled gently. Then at least learn how to breathe while running. I didn't know what to say. No one had talked to me like that since before the betrayal. Everyone else either wanted something from me or wanted to be me. Clara just wanted me to stop for a second. Noah found me later. Hey, you disappeared. Where'd you go? Met someone, I said. He smirked. Finally. Was she impressed by your empire? She didn't even ask what I do. That's new. Yeah, I said quietly. It felt good. The next morning I opened my laptop, but my focus wavered. Her words echoed. Peace is quiet. I hadn't felt quiet in years. That evening Clara texted, You look like you needed a friend. Coffee sometime? I stared at the screen for a full minute before replying. Only if you promise not to talk about work. Deal, she sent back. Noah glanced over my shoulder. New client. No, I said. Something better. Oh. He grinned. Don't tell me the robot found a heart. Maybe, I said, shutting the laptop. Maybe I just found air. We met that weekend at a small cafe by the harbor. She was sketching something when I arrived. What are you drawing? I asked. A logo for a client, she said, smiling. But you can pretend it's for you. Depends, I said. What does it mean? She held it up. It's a phoenix, rising from ashes. I stared at it, a strange warmth blooming in my chest. That's ironic. Not really, she said softly. You look like someone who's been through fire and came out glowing. I laughed, shaking my head. You don't know me, Clara. Oh, she smiled. Maybe not yet. As the sun dipped over the water, I realized something simple. All the noise, all the success, all the revenge. None of it mattered if I couldn't breathe. For the first time in years, I wanted peace more than victory. And maybe, just maybe, she was the one who'd teach me how to find it. Noah burst into my office, waving his phone. You've got to see this. Looked up from my laptop. What now? He grinned. He's done. The company's under federal investigation for fraud. I froze. You're kidding. Not even a little. It's all over the news, fake invoices, tax evasion, investors pulling out. It's chaos. I leaned back slowly, staring at the ceiling. So, it finally happened. Les smirked. You don't look surprised. I'm not, I said quietly. He always thought lying was strategy. You're not even smiling, man. Come on, this is your moment. I shook my head. No, this is his consequence. He studied me. You've changed. A year ago, you'd be popping champagne. Maybe, I said. But revenge isn't about fireworks anymore. It's about peace. He raised a brow. Peace looks boring. Exactly how I like it. My phone buzzed. No number. Answer it, Noah said. I hesitated, then swiped. Ethan Cole speaking, a shaky voice whispered, It's Emily. I frowned. Marcus's assistant? Yeah, she said. Listen, I shouldn't be calling, but I have documents proof of everything. Fake contracts. Off-the-books payments. He made me sign them. Why come to me? Because you're the only one he ever feared, she said. You warned him once, remember? About cutting corners, I sighed. Emily, if you're looking for revenge, I'm not, she interrupted. I just want the truth out. He ruined people's lives, including mine. I glanced at Noah. Send them. I already did, she said. Check your email. I opened the files. Hundreds of scanned documents, timestamps, signatures. Noah whistled. This is enough to bury him. Not by my hand, I said. He blinked. What? I'm not sending this to anyone. I don't need to, Ethan. You could end him publicly. He's already ending himself, I said softly. All I ever had to do was step out of the way. He stared at me for a long moment. You're serious? Completely. We sat in silence as the news played from the corner TV. Marcus's face filled the screen. Walking through a swarm of reporters, shouting questions flying like bullets. Noah muttered, Man, that's brutal. Choices have consequences, I said. He just met his. Later that afternoon, I drove past their office, once the glass tower that cast a shadow over everything I built. Now reporters crowded the steps, cameras flashing, headlines screaming. And then I saw her at Lena, sitting alone on the curb outside. Her makeup smudged, hands shaking around a crumpled folder. I pulled over before I could stop myself. For a moment, I just watched her, this woman who once tore my life apart, now drowning in her own silence. Noah's voice came through the car speaker. You seeing this mess? Yeah, I said. Feels good, huh? I didn't answer. Lena looked up, eyes red, scanning the crowd. When she spotted me, her expression shattered shock, shame, and something like pleading. She stood, taking a hesitant step toward my car. I gripped the steering wheel. Every memory rushed back, the laughter behind that office door. Her words, You'll never be enough. She reached the car window. Ethan, she whispered. Please, can we talk? I rolled the window down halfway. About what? Everything, she said. I didn't know it had come to this. Marcus, he lied to me too. I stared at her. You chose him. I made a mistake. No, I said calmly. You made a decision. Her lip trembled. You could help us. You have influence now. If you just help you? I said quietly. You mean save him? Please, she whispered. You're better than this. I met her eyes. No, Lena, I'm just not the same man anymore. Her tears welled up. I'm sorry, she said. I know, I replied. But sorry doesn't fix the past. She stepped back, her voice cracking. Do you still hate me? I thought about it. No, hate's too heavy to carry. I left it behind. She pressed her hands to her face, sobbing quietly as the cameras flashed in the distance. I rolled up the window. Noah's voice echoed through the speaker. Ethan, you there? Yeah. You good? I am, I said. For the first time, I actually am. As I drove away, I glanced at the rearview mirror. Lena was still standing there, small, lost, surrounded by the empire she helped build and destroy. The city lights blurred through the windshield. For a long time, I drove in silence, thinking about how life came full circle without me lifting a single finger. When I reached my apartment, Clara was waiting at the door, smiling softly. You look distant, she said. Just saw karma in action? Did it make you happy? No, I said. Just peaceful. She stepped closer. That's growth, I murmured. Or maybe it's closure. She took my hand. You don't need to fight ghosts, Ethan. You've already won. I looked out the window at the skyline. Bright, endless, alive. I didn't destroy them, I said. They destroyed themselves. Clara squeezed my hand. That's the universe doing your work for you. I smiled faintly. Guess the universe has good timing. That night I sat in the dark, staring at the city that once mocked me. Now it whispered a different story, not about revenge, but redemption. And for the first time, the silence felt like peace. I was finishing a late call when my secretary knocked. Sir, there's someone here to see you. She says it's important. Who? I asked without looking up. She hesitated. Lena Moore. For a moment, silence stretched thin. I leaned back, exhaling slowly. Send her in. When Lena walked in, she looked nothing like the woman who once shattered me. Her makeup was smudged, her hair out of place, and her eyes, those same green eyes that once burned with pride, were now dim. Ethan, she whispered. Voice trembling, I made a mistake. I didn't answer. My fingers drummed lightly on the desk. Please, she said, stepping closer. Can we just talk? I gestured to the chair across from me. Go ahead. She sat down, her hand shaking. You probably hate me? You should. But I've been trying to find the right way to tell you I'm sorry. Marcus, he wasn't who I thought he was. I raised an eyebrow. You mean the man you chose over me? The one you said was everything I could never be? Her face tightened. I was stupid. I believed his promises. When his company started falling apart, I realized he was using me. And now you're here, I said quietly, because I'm not. That's not fair, she whispered. It's perfectly fair, I replied. You didn't come to make things right. You came because your world collapsed. Her lip quivered. That's not true. I came because I miss who you were with me. I let out a bitter laugh. You mean the version of me that begged for your time? The one who thought love meant losing himself? Ethan, I didn't know. No, I cut in, standing up. You knew exactly what you were doing. You just didn't care. She stared at me, eyes glistening. You've changed, I had to. The room went quiet. Only the faint hum of the city below filled the air. I heard about what happened with Marcus, she said softly. You didn't expose him, did you? I shook my head. Didn't have to. He dug his own grave. Lena looked down. I guess that's karma. Maybe, I said. But I stopped waiting for karma a long time ago. Her gaze lifted to mine. Do you ever think about us? I hesitated before answering. Sometimes, but not the way you think. I remember how much pain I carried and how much I've let go. She took a shaky breath. I thought you'd be angry forever. I was, I admitted. But anger gets heavy. Eventually, I had to put it down. I wish I could undo it, she murmured. Then you haven't learned anything, I said. Because some things aren't meant to be undone. They're meant to be remembered. Her eyes filled again. You really don't feel anything anymore? I looked at her for a long moment. I feel gratitude. She blinked. Gratitude. For the lesson, I said. You taught me who I am without realizing it. She let out a broken laugh. That's cruel. No, I said softly. It's closure. She stood up suddenly, pacing. You don't understand what it's like, watching you become everything I said you couldn't. Then maybe now you understand what it felt like to be told I'd never be enough. She turned toward me. I do. Good, I said. Then we're even. Lena stopped by the window, looking out at the city lights. You really won't forgive me? I sighed. Forgiveness isn't something you ask for to feel better. It's something you earn by living differently. I am living differently, she said quickly. I left him. I started over. I've been trying to fix myself. That's good, I said. But fixing yourself doesn't mean we belong in the same story again. Her tears finally fell. So this is it. It was over a long time ago, I said. You just didn't notice. She wiped her cheeks, forcing a trembling smile. You really built an empire, didn't you? Brick by brick, I said quietly, while you were busy watching someone else's castle crumble. She nodded, her voice barely a whisper. You deserve it, Ethan. All of it. I know, I said simply. The door creaked as she reached for it. She paused, her back still to me. I hope someday someone loves you the way I should have. Someone already does, I said. She turned, eyes flicking with surprise. Clara. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Lena gave a small, broken laugh. Then I'm too late. Not too late to find your own peace, I said. She nodded once, then left without another word. The door closed softly behind her. I stood there, looking out at the skyline, my city, my life. It's my second chance. The past had finally come to say goodbye, and for the first time in years, I let it. Morning, boss, Noah said, as he walked into my office, coffee in hand. Board meeting in 10. Everyone's ready. Everyone? I asked, looking up from my laptop. He grinned. Even Olivia. She's early. It made me pause. My sister had spent years doubting my choices, questioning my obsession with success. Guess that's a first. He chuckled. Guess she's finally impressed. I smiled faintly. Let's not push our luck. As we walked toward the conference room, I caught a glimpse of Clara through the glass talking to one of the new interns. Her expression calm, reassuring. She had a way of grounding everyone around her, especially me. When the meeting started, I spoke with a steadiness I hadn't known years ago. Our next step isn't just growth, it's legacy. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to be the most trusted. Clara nodded, her eyes meeting mine. Integrity is what separates us from them. I glanced around the table. Exactly. Marcus built a house of mirrors. We're building something that lasts. Afterward, as the team dispersed, Olivia stayed behind. She looked nervous, fingers playing with the strap of her bag. You okay? I asked. She nodded slowly. Yeah, I wanted to say something. I raised an eyebrow. That sounds serious. She exhaled. I wasn't fair to you, Ethan. When you lost Lena, when you quit your job, I thought you were wasting your life. I didn't see what you were building. I leaned against the table, crossing my arms. You were just being honest. I wasn't exactly stable back then. Still, she said, her voice soft, I should have believed in you. I'm proud of you, Ethan. Really proud. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. Hearing those words felt heavier than any award or deal I'd ever signed. Thanks, I said quietly. That means more than you think. She smiled faintly. Mom would have been proud too. That one hit deeper. I nodded. I hope so. Olivia gave my arm a light squeeze and left. I stayed in the empty room for a while, letting the silence sink in. Later that evening, found Clara on the balcony overlooking the city. She was watching the sunset, a folder tucked under her arm. Beautiful, isn't it? She said without turning. I stepped beside her. Almost as beautiful as how far we've come. She smiled. Flattery before quarterly reviews? Smart move, CEO. I laughed. You know me? Always strategizing. She turned toward me. You don't need to strategize anymore, Ethan. You've already won. Won, I repeated. Feels strange to think of it that way, 'cause winning used to mean beating someone, she said. Now it just means being at peace. I looked out at the skyline, my city, my story rebuilt from ashes. You're right. I used to think revenge was the finish line. Turns out, peace is... Clara handed me the folder. These are the final numbers for the new branch. You did it. We did it, I corrected. You've been there since the start. She shook her head. You built this, Ethan. You took what broke you and turned it into something that heals people. I smiled. Funny, I used to think strength meant never breaking, and now I think strength means knowing how to rebuild. She looked at me for a moment, then said softly, So what's next? I exhaled, feeling the weight of years lift from my shoulders. Maybe it's time to stop chasing and start living. You? Take a break? Don't sound so shocked, I said. Even empires need rest. Her laughter softened into a smile. Then maybe you should start by having dinner without a laptop nearby. I'll consider it, I teased. No, you'll do it, she said firmly. Because this time, the world won't fall apart if you pause. I looked at her, really looked at her, the calm in her eyes, the steadiness I once lacked. You always know what to say, 'cause I know who you are, she said simply. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. Not to her, not to anyone. Later, as I walked through the quiet office, I stopped by the wall that displayed our company motto, built on trust, not ego. I traced the words with my fingertips. We really did it, I murmured. Noah appeared from the hallway. Talking to the walls again, boss? Just making sure they're listening, I said with a grin. He smirked. They better. They've seen everything. I laughed. They have. When he left, I stood there a little longer. Memories of the man I used to be, the anger, the heartbreak, the nights I almost gave up flashed faintly in my mind. But they didn't hurt anymore. They just reminded me how far I'd come. I opened my phone and saw a message from Lena. I'm happy for you. I stared at it for a second, then deleted it without replying. Some stories don't need sequels. Outside, the city lights flickered to life. I felt something I hadn't in a long time, quiet pride. Not for beating anyone, but for becoming someone I could finally respect. Ethan Moore, I whispered to myself. The man they tried to break. For the first time, the words didn't sound like defiance. They sounded like peace. The morning light spilled through my window, soft and gold. I stood in front of the mirror, toothbrush still in hand, and stared at the reflection staring back. Who are you? I whispered. The man in the glass didn't look broken anymore. His eyes were calm, sharp, alive. The faint lines on his face weren't from stress, they were from growth. Noah's voice echoed from the kitchen. You talking to yourself again? Maybe, I called back. He's finally worth talking to, he laughed. You sound like a motivational poster. I grinned, setting the brush down. Guess life turned me into one. When I stepped out, Clara was at the counter, pouring coffee. She smiled. You look different today. Different how? Peaceful, she said. That's new. I took the mug she handed me. It feels new, like I finally stopped fighting ghosts. She leaned on the counter. You've earned it. Most people chase revenge their whole lives. You let it go. I sipped the coffee, thinking about Lena, Marcus, all the sleepless nights that used to define me. If you told me years ago that I'd thank the people who hurt me, I'd have laughed in your face. Clara tilted her head. Do you thank them? I smiled faintly. Yeah, because if Lena hadn't betrayed me, I'd still be living small, working under someone else's dream. I had to lose everything to realize who I was. She nodded slowly. Sometimes pain's the only thing that wakes us up. Looked out the window at the skyline, our company's tower gleaming in the distance. I didn't just survive her betrayal, I said quietly. I built an empire from it. Clara's eyes softened. You built yourself from it. Her words hit deeper than she probably intended. For years, I thought my worth came from proving people wrong. Now, I knew it came from finally being right with myself. Noah walked in, holding a folder. Boss, the press wants a quote for the anniversary feature. Something inspiring, maybe with a dramatic touch, I chuckled. They always want drama, so what should I tell them? He asked. I thought for a moment, then said, tell them success isn't about what you gain, it's about who you become. whistled. Man, that's going to trend. Clara laughed. He's right. You just wrote your own headline. Maybe, I said, smiling. But this time, it's not about headlines. It's about peace. No one nodded and left, and Clara reached for my hand. So, what's next for the man in the mirror? I looked at her, then back at my reflection in the glass door. The man staring back wasn't chasing anyone anymore. Whatever comes, I said. But this time, I won't lose myself trying to win. She squeezed my hand, and I smiled the quiet, genuine kind that didn't need to prove anything. I finally recognized the man in the mirror. He was me.